Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Buongiorno.
Wandered into this room deep in the night. Unmarked door opened up. Finds cloaked figures sitting about a computer stand.
Painting?
What herein will they discuss?
Hmm.
Something just happened, didn't it?
A little bit. Something.
Yeah.
Something tiny.
Some small.
A little
Yeah.
bit of a West Coast escapade, or an
Uh,
almost West Coast escapade.
like about a decent drive from the West Coast coastapade. That's not even
Yeah,
close to being a word that I can make.
I'll allow it.
City of Shining
Say
Lightscapade.
that's right, because tonight we are on Always Strikes Late,
Where things
talking
are
weirdly.
oh ever late but ever interesting.
Yep.
Yep. This is the Always Strikes last series of episodes, dear listener, where, as always, we will go on wild tangents because it is strange times of the night for all of us, but you're going to get some good stuff, as is
Indeed.
also per usual.
You gotta love a
And
good rant.
I mean, they're when they're good, they're good. When they're not, it shows. Uh,
Exactly. Well, guys,
uh,
oh,
uh,
I keep cutting you off, Matt. Matt, you go.
oh no, I'm golden, man. I'm loopy. It's a loopy day, and I'm excited because Alex got back from LVO, and he kicked ass. He
That
kicked
is
He
exactly it.
did.
That is exactly
ass,
it.
and I
It
want to
Alex,
hear
was.
you're
about
the
it.
topic today, man. You're going to tell us all about this escapade of yours at the LVO and how it went.
It was an amazing experience. So yeah, traveled to Las Vegas, Nevada this last weekend for the Las Vegas Open.
Mhm.
Um, I played in the Age of Sigmar championships. We started the tournament with 308 players.
Yeah, I saw
Um,
that.
it was the second
Nuts.
largest Sigmar tournament ever in the United States. I think CanCon in Australia has taken, or I think there's some German tournament too that's been like rising up that had like 600 people last year.
Would you call it a
Um,
Germinant?
a German nut? I don't know.
Germinant? I don't know. Yeah.
But yeah, it was. My liver is successfully recovered, I think,
Nice.
from being in Las Vegas. The frontline people always set up the bar right next to the Age of Sigmar champs because they know we like to party. Um,
They they take care of y'all.
one of my games, we actually used a bucket of beer as a place of power, which was
That's kind of amazing, actually.
yeah,
Perfection.
it was Skittles like in a random corridor area of the table that we weren't either deployed on. So we're like, we got a bucket of beer for the game. We're like, let's just have some beers and we're just gonna use this as a place of power.
That seems like a great use of space, especially when there's always some real estate challenges with like a lot of tables set up, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
They'll put their armies
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. So yeah, it was I attended the Las Vegas Open with my club, the Corsairs. Um I had a phenomenal time. We stayed on the strip. We didn't stay at the Rio this time. I'm not a fan of the Rio. It's kind of one of those older off-strip hotels. And as much as I love going and playing in a giant Warhammer tournament, I'm all about going there and making memories with my friends first. Uh, to me, it's just way more special. Um, so we stayed on strip just so we could go out easily afterwards and have fun on
So you didn't
strip.
feel like you were locked into the Rio verse with the whatever's
Yeah,
easy and local. Yeah.
yeah. It was
What about getting the armies in and out though? That makes kind of more of a pain, right? To just like Uber in.
we left our armies actually there. We had like a little area over by the judge's booth, which we just stashed
Nice.
our armies. So
Nice.
yeah, it was kind of easy. Um, but yeah, I attended the Las Vegas Open. I played Slaves to Darkness. Um, did really, I did pretty well. I was really proud of myself. When I went into the tournament, I gave myself a goal of top 50, and I finished 41st
Hmm.
overall. Uh, which I was very happy with the outcome of my score. I think I would have finished higher, My understanding is they didn't do battle points. They did strength of schedule. Um,
Ooh.
so there are some people I was behind that I had more battle points than the with the same record.
It's an
But
Gotcha.
interesting choice for strength of schedule.
yeah,
Not that
we didn't
large.
do top down. We did random same record pairings, and we didn't do battle points and tactics, which was fine.
Teach their own.
Um, yeah, I mean, I wasn't unless you were 5-0, like I don't think it really mattered.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I wanted to let's kind of go into a little bit of my prep first. Um, I will normally, if people watch the show or know me, I'm a huge corn player.
Hmm.
I kind of needed a mental break from playing corn. I um I didn't want to go into Las Vegas just mentally taxing myself. I want to give myself a break and kind of play something very meta.
Hmm.
So I was the big bully in the room, pushing giant Vanguard blocks with Be'lakor around.
I'm sure you had company though.
Yeah, it was. I think we were there were 28
It's like
Slaves of Darkness players and I think 25 Stormcast players. And I want to say all the Slaves of Darkness players won round one. So the odds that you were gonna play either Stormcast or Slaves of Darkness round two was extremely high.
Oh my
that
God.
makes all the sense. Poor Skaven. Poor
Yeah.
Skaven.
Skaven did so poorly. One of our local friends, who's I would probably think is one of the best players in the area, if not the best player in the area, uh, went with a losing record for the first time I didn't think was humanly possible. Um,
Really? Oh, wow.
yeah.
It'll
He
happen.
I saw him on Saturday. I'm like, what the fuck happened? And he's just like, dude, I don't Uh, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I wanted to play something that was not mentally taxing, that I could just kind of show up. My game plan is simple. I'm gonna tell my opponent, listen, I'm gonna deploy my Vanguard on the line. I'm gonna give him 3d6 charge. I'm gonna mark him corn, and I'm gonna jam him down your throat. Told every single game. That's exactly what I did. Um, I literally called my shot. I was like, hey, this is either gonna work really well or it's not gonna work really well. And I made about 17, 15 plus inch charges in the tournament.
That's so
I
awesome.
think you've
Also,
unlocked the
so
secret of
nuts.
Slaves of Darkness right there. Just do that every time.
Yeah, roll
Yeah.
good. Yeah, it was fun. My prep, I played about 20 games of the list before. I was originally gonna play a one drop version of my list.
Mhm.
Um, and Mason talked me into playing a two drop version of the list. Um, of course, I went with the God's Wrath Warband, which I think, unless you're playing Legion of the First Prince, every single person playing slaves plays the God Wrath Warband. Um, I had Be'lakor as my general with a big six pack of Vanguard, 2 units of Furies, and then in my second drop, I had the Chaos Sorcerer Lord with a 10 pack of Chosen with the Dread Banner. And if you do not know what the Dread Banner does, you should look it up because it is the best free upgrade. It's the non-god specific banner.
Doesn't
Mhm.
lock you
Uh,
in. Yeah, really good.
just assume the other ones don't exist.
Yep.
They look spicy, but if you have if you're in combat with them, no commands from your opponent. And 10 chosen take up a brick on the table.
Yep.
And it is spicy. I
Spicy is
mean,
an
Yeah.
understatement. It's downright, atomic,
you
I
can't
would
power
say.
through off them. I
Mhm.
caught a lot of people doing that. Like, oh, I'm gonna charge you and then power through. It's like, no. You can't all out attack, you can't all out defense. It's basic things like anything that's a command.
Can't
Can't
rally,
do.
can't do any of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I in my testing I was playing I played a Catacross list and you can't use the Catacross +1 armor save on all your units because it's a command.
Mm-hmm.
So that alone just eats up people, and you will grind games out with them.
I like that choice of yours, Alex, because like I always think it's down to a couple, but like you can still pledge them to whatever god you want because it's like the free upgrade version, so you don't
Oh
really lose
yeah,
anything. Just
yeah.
Yeah.
have fun with it. I mean,
They're more
definitely
chill.
competitive.
It's the corn one is really good. It's +1 to wound, and then I think something bonus on the charge, or I don't even remember. And then the Slanesh one is um +1 attack on the charge, and then the Slanesh mark gives you 3d6 charge on your turn.
Yeah,
Mm.
Uh, but the math equals out to about the same if your opponent's can use all out defense. So it's like, why do I even care? I am also protecting myself and doing lots of other things.
Yeah.
It's just crazy good. Um, so it was really good. I mean, the Slaves of Darkness artifacts and command traits aren't very good. I gave the healing aura one, so if every guy can heal one if you're within 12 in
hmm
damage on a 4 up, and then the once per game if you cast a spell you take D3 mortals, which actually worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
Because I did
the
play
Infernal
two.
Puppet, right?
Yeah, I did play against two lizard players at the tournament, so it did do really well. Um, yeah, that was actually a pretty clutch upgrade. Um, yeah, I absolutely love the list. In my 20 games I practiced against, I didn't lose a single game. Uh,
They're so strong right now.
and yeah, they're just in like it's so easy to play them. You're just like, oh, well, I'm gonna rip a 15-inch charge of these chosen, give them marker corn, like let's send them in.
Yep.
Like, good luck. Activate fight twice. Who cares? Like, good luck, buddy. Sorry.
I love it. It's, it kind of, in some ways, I remember when, like third edition Chaos Knights were just garbage, right?
Yep.
Hot garbage. Out come the, what are they called? The Cities of Sigmar Knights, Cavaliers.
The
Cavaliers, oh yeah.
Cavaliers. I love
And
those
they do
models.
everything better than the Chaos Knights do in third edition.
Not
I feel
anymore.
like,
They're whew.
yeah, now they're weird. I feel like now, like Chaos, Slaves of Darkness, they deserve a little bit of an upgrade. I wish it would have been a little bit more across the board because it really is like point and shoot with a couple of units, right? But
Yeah,
I
that's the
who
think they
main
cares?
have.
main
Let them have
issue.
fun.
I think there are a few different builds. One of my teammates did double 6 packs of Therodons, which that
hmm
bonus damage once per game, very
Mm-hmm.
strong.
It's super
Uh,
good.
I think you can also run Chaos Knights, a big unit of Chaos Knights. Um, it really just depends on 2 units, but I think the big glue for the army is Be'lakor. Be'lakor, I would not be surprised if Be'lakor went up 60 to 80 points in
I
the
Yeah,
agree with
upgrade in
that.
the patch. I still think he's worth it at 500.
for sure.
Um, his defensive ability of with his rampage of if he's in combat range of a friendly unit, you roll on a 4 up. Be'lakor and 2 units next to him can fight first on your opponent's turn.
So good.
It's really big. Because Vanguard have huge footprints, Chosen have huge footprints, Therodons have big footprints. 10 pack of Chaos Knights can you're looking good.
Well, I
Uh,
mean,
But
and you can do even crazy things with it, right? You can pull
hmm
off the slaves, or not slaves of darkness, the daughters of Cain, fight first with everything if you time it right, right? If you
yeah.
know you get off the charge, you do your monstrous rampage, you put fights
well, it's
first
not on your
on.
charge. They have to charge you, Matt. It's like a
It's only
Bellacor's
on their
obvious
turn.
trap thing.
There we go. That's what it is.
But still,
Um,
though, it's amazing because you can kind of sit there brazenly with your whatever in the front line, and you're like, oh, screens? Well, charge this is a 50-50 chance unless you have a always strikes first in your pocket. Just kind of get mulched. So
I
very
think
powerful
you
deterrent.
I'm
I mean,
gonna
you
go
should
as
still
far as
try it.
saying you don't need to screen with it because
Yeah.
it's just if they come in and smash into it and fail, or you roll one of your three, you're good. You're golden. Like good game, buddy. You just lost your unit.
Oh yeah.
It's it's brutal. Um, and I had several games where that happened. Um, but yeah, let's
Get
should we
into it.
dive into my matches?
Yeah, let's hear about it. I
Let's
want to
do
hear
it.
about this.
Bring us through all of it, Alex. I mean, I'm really
Perfect.
kind of
I
excited about
have
your journey.
all the lists pulled up.
Perfect.
And if for those who are listening, if you pop into the Discord, I kind of did like a cool photo journal of every single day, and I took pictures of all my opponents. Granted, I forgot to take a picture of my last opponent, but the fatigue was really set in then. I was just like, oh my God, just finished 5 rounds. I'm tired.
Hmm.
Um,
That was after Bucket of Beer, Place of Power, right? As you were talking about.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was good.
The best place of power.
It was yeah, it was wonderful. But shout out to all my opponents. Um, every single person was gems, absolute gems of humans to play. Um, I would definitely play every single one of them any day of the week. Um, also, I know you probably listen because you told me you listen to the show. Stuart King of the Dojo, I'm gonna give you a big shout out. That beer you gave me in round 4 saved my life. I
Turn
was
you into the
tired.
ninja.
I was tired and needed a drink, and this man looked at me. He's right next to me. He's like, "Sir, you need a beer." And I did not know who this person was, and he just handed me a beer. And yeah,
That's the beautiful spirit of LVO right there.
yeah, it was. I mean, I can't get the energy and the spirits were so high. Everyone was just, it was all love, and yeah. Before we go in, thank you for everyone who recognized me and walked up to me. Um, yeah, it was really nice to meet people in person. So anytime you see any of us at events, please come up and say hi because it really puts a smile on our face and makes our day.
Yeah,
Completely
really
second that.
does.
Please do.
Even if I'm awkward, I'm still enjoying it. I'm just
Yeah.
awkward in general. So
Same here in that.
But yeah, round 1, I played against a guy named Josh Bradford. Um, super nice guy. He played a really interesting list. It was Stormcast. It was the Sacrosanct Convention, so it was the 2.0 stuff that's going away.
Which is all really good.
Yeah, it was he had the Primal Energy Manifestation, which I don't think he casted anything um all game, but that's
Really.
neither here nor there. He had a Lord Relictor as his general, with Mirror Shield and Void of the Heavens, which I think most people do.
Hmm.
Unit of Judicators with Boltstorm crossbows, which are pretty good at shooting, really good at tapping objectives. 6 Protectors, which were pretty spicy. Give him Bodyguard, pretty good.
Yeah.
And then you had the Astra Soulbright, which
Oh,
is
Oh
Estrella
yeah.
Soulbright. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, the named character cat, which brings a cat back every turn, I think. That's what he did. It was pretty good.
Nice.
A reinforced unit of evocators on the cats, which hit like a truck.
Hmm.
Another unit of Judicators of Boltstorm, and then a reinforced long strike with yeah, reinforced long strikes. Ugh, tongue tied. Um, it was pretty spicy. Um, most my games I kind of deploy center-ish around my train piece, and I would kind of put the Vanguard here in front of everything with Bellacore and my Sorcerer next within combat range of the train piece, so I can give them the +1 to cast if I roll it, which is really good.
Hmm.
And then depending on how the train set is, I'll either put my chosen on the left flank or the right flank of them, but keeping them within 3 inches of Be'lakor for
Makes
protection,
sense.
and
Mhm.
then to set my Furies up for take the flanks or zone out deep strike. Furies MVPs of the
Always.
tournament, obviously. Uh, he, I won the drop battle. Or no, he won the drop battle on this. We played. Let me pull up the mission pack. So we have that. Da, 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 da. We played Border War, so pretty simple mission.
Hmm.
Um, he took turn, and I explained to him everything that could happen. And then he just yeeted his cat pack into my Vanguard to try to kill them.
Oh
Ooh.
no.
And
Did he pick the wrong hand? Did he get the hand of you fell into Bellacor's trap?
yeah, I full on pulled Exodia on him and banished him.
Oh
I
no.
made him fight first with all three of my units
Oh no.
and just
Oh my God.
wiped the cats.
That would do it.
That's like
Uh,
a game ending moment right there, almost immediately.
yes
I
and
mean, it's still
no.
got the long strikes and the shooting,
He covered
but
objectives. He shot all my Furies to death with his
yeah.
long strikes and his bolt storm crossbows, which, was very effective. I hate when I lose those because I have to focus my big units on the primary.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Um, and then I kind of pushed out. I ripped like a 15-inch charge with my chosen and just sat on a big objective in the center. And I just I left my chosen to go out on the right flank. Took Be'lakor and my Vanguard to go out on the left. Um, my Vanguard rolled like trash this game. Absolute garbage. Armor saves, absolute garbage. Pretty much everything. Be'lakor was a champ and just kind of was eating up long strikes, just tying everything up. But my chosen were just going around eating units, double fighting. Uh, by turn four, he had like two models left, and I kept him alive just for battle tactics. But
So
it was a big score game for me. I think it
that's
was like
crazy good.
44 to like 18 win.
Oh damn.
Um,
So
so it was
pretty early on, you got the. Sorry, cut you out there.
yeah, it felt good to score big early. Um, and for me, that first game out of the way too,
Hmm.
always feels good because you always have that. I don't want to call it anxiety, but it's more anticipation. Like I'm
Hmm.
so like I just want to roll some dice. Let's just see how it goes.
Yeah, it's the jitters. You get the jitters.
Yeah, the jitters. Yeah, it was fun. He was super cool about it. We talked. Yeah, he was just a super good guy from Florida. He had gotten like his flight got delayed and he got in like at 11 p.m. last night or
Oh
the
my
night
Oh
God.
wow.
before. And he was like, it's like I just went to the food court and like ate and then went to bed. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, bro. I was I stayed out all night drinking, so it's like the same, right?
Yeah, it's just
You-
one of you probably looks better. Who knows? It's a.
I had a crazy night. I had the proper Vegas night. Me and my buddy went out. We went drinking. I think I roughly remember going to bed around like midnight, but woke up and forgot I got a tattoo, which was the typical like, oh, did this happen in Vegas?
Hmm.
You're
Which is
living the
great.
classic. Yeah.
That was great. Yeah, it was good. Fun, grand old time. Um, but yeah, round one was good. I knew I was probably gonna play Stormcaster, Slaves Darkness, but I got a Stormcast list out of the way, and then on to round two. Round two, I played against a guy I met at the Old Town teams. He was super good. His team won best theme when they were dressed up as the Guinea first Force.
Oh, Skinny
Uh,
Force.
That's
yeah,
fun. I love
it was
that.
super cool. I was super jealous that they beat us out in theme. So it's like deep down inside, I was like, I'm gonna get my revenge. Um, but his name was Zach, out of the Wargroom Gaming Group, WRG, I forget the actual name of it. But he played a very popular list that was being played a lot, which was Lizards. The
Oh yeah.
whole Seraphon 2-drop list, um, with all the Skinksos. Slan Starmaster, Codal Familiar, the Bastillodon, the Arcosotech, big Crocscar unit, big Crocscar unit, Skink Starseer, Hunters, Reinforced Raptidons. Um,
Hilariously scary list.
Very scary list. And this was on Jaws, which has that weird deployment, which is like a Z almost.
Hmm.
Um, and I did exactly what I did all my games in my practice, deployed my little castle right there. He was very scared of me, and I think rightfully kind of turtle like lizards do.
Hmm.
Um,
Makes a
I
giant
think
bean of lizards.
I think he planned on me giving him turn, but how deployment worked was we had a big place of power, like big place of power, like a 5 inch by 5 inch place of power here, and then um an impassable piece of terrain, like a couple inches off of it, which was long. It was like almost like 10 inches long, like a brick like this, like right
Yikes.
at the edge of his deployment zone. So he only had like I want to say like 6 inch gap between this impassable place of power and this impassable wall, and then there was like 5 inches off to the side of the place of power for the table edge, and then
Hmm.
right over here in the corner he placed towards his only opening. It was like an 8 inch opening, his terrain piece, and he
See,
wrapped the reinforced Raptidon units around everything. So he did a complete screen of Tim and Raptidon units.
jeez.
And I was like, okay, well, if I take turn, I can push out and probably get a nice 3d6 charge off on his pyramid and kind of lock him in on the corner and then force a unit towards the choke point while I'm sitting on the primaries. And only thing he's going to be able to come out of in his zone is his 2 6-man units of hunters. So I'm like, cool, hunters. I'll just cast Horghast with my sorcerer, have the Horghast in the backfield, and just kind of hunting them.
Hmm.
Uh, I made a very risky play and took turn. Uh,
Why? This I
so
want to know. Because
I
that sounds like the perfect trap to just be like, yeah, your army's gone.
so I knew if I gave away turn, or if I took first turn, I could sit on the primary, and then on his turn one, I would take a huge risk and Dark Master that 10-man unit of Raptidons to where they couldn't move because they were blocking out his whole unit. So he would
To let
st
him own deploy block deploy block himself.
so
Oh,
he
that's the
couldn't
best.
move out.
Good move.
Uh,
So
he
what you're saying
literally
is
couldn't move.
you scored so well on your first game that you're like, fuck it, I'm getting ballsy.
I got spicy. Um,
That's great.
and I'm gonna kind of pre-say this. This game might have been the best dice game I have ever had.
Oh no. Poor guy.
Oh,
Like
that's definitely casts a shadow over what must have happened next. But let me
Yeah.
continue.
This is ominous.
it
That is the shadow in the post, like in the movie poster behind the character of the evil villain lording over
yeah,
them for the rest of this game now.
yeah. I literally was like Bane. I'm like, do you feel safe? Do you feel in control? It was. I felt bad for him too. Like it was. So I did that play. I ripped like a 16-inch charge with my chosen. Charged the castle, double fought them, wiped out like 4 units of the Raptidons with the castle
Oof.
on turn one, so he didn't get to nuke everything. Uh, Charged my ran my Vanguard up, kind of in the center of the table, made
Mm-hmm.
board presence, put Be'lakor behind within 3 inches of both of them, to where if he came in on his turn, if I failed the Dark Master roll, he would have to, be subject to fight first. And I said go. He cast Gravetide, like move blocking himself, thinking he could get out. Because you could go through them, but the base you physically have to finish not on
Yeah.
Gravetide.
And it's a
And
massive base. It's almost a liability with how big that
yeah.
base is, right?
And then on his turn, so he got the Gravetide out and countered cast, and then on his turn he got Purple Sun. So he had Purple Sun Gravetide right there in his little 6-inch stroke point. He said go. I said Dark Master on your 10-man Raptidon unit. Or at this point it was 8 Raptidons, and I made the Dark Master roll to where he was completely stuck.
Oh,
Just couldn't go anywhere. Just
He couldn't
sat
he
there.
couldn't he couldn't go anywhere. He moved his Arcosotech like around them on the flank on the side, to where he could like come off behind the place of power, but
mhm.
it never really got into combat that mattered, or his rampage never really mattered because it wasn't close enough.
Damn.
Um, yeah, it was rough. I felt bad. I won Prio. He scored like a 0 point turn. Uh,
Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm feeling for you
yeah.
right now.
I won Prio. I took it, and I was like, okay, I'm going for it this turn.
Hmm.
I'm just gonna, put the nail in the coffin. I have my literally chosen unit right here on the corner, Vanguard right here, Bilcor. I physically can't fit all my models in there, but he had this like runway with kit 6 Crocs, and then like the frog in the back. And I was like, okay, like I think you're trying to countercast down here to like put a blocking unit or something. But I was like, I don't care. Um, I did fight with 2 units, don't die, and my Vanguard close to the center of the table. Uh, I got 3d6 charge off with them, and then
Jeez.
banished both his endless spells with my other 2 casts. And I'm just rolling hot. Like it was fun. I mean, I never rolled that good. Um, And then I was like, okay, go to the moved up outside. And then I ripped like a 17-inch charge with both my units.
Oh, oh, at that point, was it just shake hands? That
It
sounds like a shake hands moment.
He looked defeated. I felt bad. Um, because he had just a bad magic phase, bad everything.
Hmm.
I got into with both his Crocs units, activated fight twice with my Vanguard. By the time that combat ended, I had lost one Vanguard. He had lost both 6-man packs of Croxigar and all of his Raptidons.
Oh man.
That's brutal. That is a
Yeah, it was
brutal
rough.
game.
And I take another 10-point turn. He pulls down his Haunchies outside on an objective. I kind of give it to him.
Hmm.
I'm like, I don't really care. I'm not gonna, focus my resources out on that. And then on his turn, I rip like a huge counter charge into the frog. Uh, and then he gets some Croxigar back. I'm like, cool, don't care. Um, I literally am sitting on all the objectives at this point. Like it doesn't matter. Um, and I max him out that game, and yeah, it was a little feel bad moment. He had bad dice, and I literally had the best dice ever. It wasn't like average dice versus best dice. It was average dice versus worst dice.
Oh, that's a hard feeling.
But
It
he took it like a
happens
champ.
sometimes, but yeah, that's rough if he's running up against like your best day ever, kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, 18 inches average charge for the 3d6, 17 inches kind of
I
thing.
ripped, I want to say I rolled at least 5 plus 15-inch charges that game. Every single
Damn.
one of my charges were just like it was my full-time job just ripping off these giant charges.
You went
It
to
was
school for that shit.
I'm
it was
assuming
You got
you
a
went directly
wild.
to
degree.
the craps table after this particular moment.
Yeah.
No, 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 no,
Game three is gonna have to wait.
no. Yeah. Yeah, then that was fun. He was fun. We talked for a little bit, went and talked to my team. It felt good. At this point, I'm feeling super spicy going into round three.
Hmm.
Uh, round three pairings come up, and I'm playing lizards again.
Same list.
Close to the same list. This list only had one Pax of Croxigar, but it had a bunch of the Raptidons and a bunch of the Raptidons shooting. So he had like the
Interesting.
charge of the Raptidons, shoot with 2 units, charge of the Raptidons, shoot with 2 units, kind of thing. So
Gotcha.
he's like shoots in the shoot phase and then shoots in the charge phase.
Yep.
Um, uh, so I played a guy named Thomas Burgett. Thomas was my favorite player I played against the whole tournament. He was an absolute amazing energy person. He also is a content creator. He runs a YouTube channel called Weak and Decadent out of Denver, Colorado. So shout out to them.
Hell
Very
Um,
yeah.
nice. Shout out indeed.
they
Duly
do
noted.
very much my vibe of beer hammers and podcast. Thomas was, I think he finished ninth at Worlds right out of the cut.
Oh
So
wow.
very good player. Uh, if you think you play most players or a lot of players that have high energy, Thomas puts them all to shame.
Nice.
He had a hype button like the like bing, 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 like whatever whatever something cool would happen. He's like either side. He's like, bro, you gotta hit the hype button. You gotta hype it up. And then like he'd roll good, and he's become so fucking good at Warhammer, like just jokingly. And
That's how you do
I
it.
was laughing the entire time. He
That's
was just
awesome.
absolute, just his energy he brought to the game was impeccable. Yeah, I this game was my loss. Uh, so it was, but I didn't feel bad losing to him. He was amazing.
Sounds like the
But
most fun loss ever.
oh, it definitely was. Yeah, we had a grand old time, and it was a close game. Uh, so unlike Zach, he had a 3-drop list. So same thing, Slant Starmaster. He had the in Decadent recitals, or however you say it. I'm gonna get butchered for that in the comments. And Being of the Stars. 10-man Raptidon Chargers, 5-man Raptidon Chargers, 5-man Raptidon Chargers, Terra Wings, which Terra Wings at 70 points are very good.
Yeah. And the small
Like
bases too.
sneaky good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and then he had Skiing Starseer, 5-man or 6-man War Spawn, Croc's Warp Spawn, 5 hunters, second unit or third battalion, Skiing Star Priest, hunters with bolas, and then of course the train piece. Uh, Very good game. We played the Vice, which both of our armies were very set up for.
Hmm.
Furies, Terror Wings, Red Hunters,
Yep.
very easy for both of us. I played a ton of Ice preparing for Feast of Blades last year and Old Town Throwdown because I normally hate playing the Vice, but I practiced. I did a ton of practice on it because I knew I was playing it a lot, gonna be playing in tournaments. Now it's one of my favorite missions, and I find it a ton of fun to play.
I love that actually. I feel like those missions that everybody hates, I kind of enjoy them more because
I
it
think
feels like you're up against more than just your opponent's list and more than your opponent. You're up against like an external force that makes you have to think outside of the normal, like you go, I
I
go,
That's
agree.
right?
exactly it. I kind of hate love them too. I mean, hate them when you run into me unprepared, but love them because that's the essence of like what you would have with a real army situation, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not always going to be show up in the green field and roll them up. Like sometimes you have to deal with different circumstances where maybe that other unit would be better. And those missions capture that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they really do.
I would encourage players, newer players, or players looking to get into the tournament scene, play the missions that you don't want to play. It'll make you better at the game, and you will enjoy going to tournaments more because you won't have to stress about learning how to play games like limited resources properly or
Hmm.
the Vice.
Which
I really,
limited resources is just hard to track sometimes, right?
yeah,
But like it is still one of those things where it's like you can make just like a whole, you can have so much fun just like resource management essentially, right? Like
yeah.
that's a little mini game in and of itself.
Oh
Sorry, I cut
yeah,
you off there.
it's definitely it's really hard too because like you have to do the math of okay, well, I control them for two of my turns. So do I need to sit on how many do I need to sit on? Because if I'm going first in the round and I have two objectives, well, and my opponent only has one, am I losing my two to then my opponent automatically has one and more?
Hmm.
And you really have to think about that portion of, okay, what where the turn order look? How do I need to do prio? Do how do I am I giving away turn? Am I taking turn?
Do
And
I want
it's
the underdog? Right?
do you want the underdog? The underdog, I think, is huge now.
Yeah.
Being if especially if you go drop down 6 points and you are able to tactic and double. Oh my God,
Hmm.
it's night and day. I really like how the underdog changed with the last update. Um, I think it encourages better play or more complex play. In at the same time, it also gives the players a better shot at coming back against those early lists, like pin lists we saw, like OBR and Nagash just rush in your face, pin you with
Hmm.
30 Death Riders, or turn one Night Haunt, just send down all my guys.
Yeah.
Um, I find it very good to make up for those missions.
I
So
do wish, and I know I'm going on a tangent, but I do wish it was like 8 points maybe. I feel like 6 points, if you engineer your movement and your objective taking and your point scoring just enough,
yeah,
you can make like a really brutal third turn for your
oh,
opponent
100%,
by grabbing
100%.
underdog, right? So it's like I wish it was just a little bit more, but I really like the idea of not punishing somebody for rolling, under at the wrong
Yeah,
time, right?
yep, yep,
So
yep. But yeah, Thomas's night game. It was wonderful. He castled, I castled. I told him exactly what I was gonna do. Deploy my Vanguard on the line, give him 3d6 charge, mark him corn, run in a double fight. Uh, I did exactly that. Turn one charge with Vanguard, wiped out a giant pack of Raptidons, tied up another unit of Raptidons, had his Kroxgar off to the side. I teleported my chosen off, got it on objective. Um, yeah, it was I had board control on his turn one. I he moved up his Kroxgar kind of not out of range. Um, and
like bait.
then kind of like getting ready for the counter charge because I was kind of like a little off center. They were off to the side. He
Mm-hmm.
failed his charge. I was like, okay, cool, because I wanted to set Dark Master up for turn two going into three because that's when you really want to be on the vice because when those objectives start moving in, you
Mm-hmm.
want to be able to do one, two more
Yeah, that makes
there.
sense.
Uh, I win prio. I clean up a little bit. Those shooting things are really good because if Raptidons charge, even in counter charge, they get to shoot.
Yep. And
And
you
it's
don't
a
get all out
lot of
defense
shots. You can now.
from the charge.
Yep, you can all defense in your turn at any point in your turn. They changed it in the last edition, last update.
Uh See, I was thinking it was just shooting in combat.
You can all defense for counter shoot. Uh, and yeah, I think you can. I don't know.
I think
Feel
they
I
double
never
did.
did.
check it.
That's
I never did it because I didn't care. Yeah, I just didn't care. I
Yep.
was so tight on my resources because I was having to do counter charges and all defense in the combat phase. because
Mm-hmm.
those bites, they hurt.
There you
Um, but yeah, it was good. I kind of established board control, and then I said go. He had a really good magic phase. I activated Dark Master on the Croc Cigar because we're gonna come in and munch my Vanguard.
go. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Uh, I failed my rolls.
There do.
I failed my
Oh
move
yeah.
roll. I failed my charge roll. I failed my attack roll.
So you got all of your dice out in the last game, essentially. It's what it sounds like.
Yeah. Uh, he had a good turn. He started chipping away at my chosen and with all of his shooting. He got a unit back with his frog.
Mm-hmm.
Um, good on objective. Those things are really good at killing furies.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
so we roll prio. He wins. Uh, has a decent turn. I fail my Dark Master rolls for the second turn in a row. Uh, and that pretty much sealed the game right then and there. So,
It's so
and
rough when that happens though.
yep,
All the three ups.
yep. And on my turn, he even ripped off like a 12-inch counter charge with the Croc Cigar.
Oh wow. You don't
It
expect
was
that.
wild. It was wild.
Sounds like it.
But it was fun. We had such a good time. Like we hugged during the game. We were just hanging out. It was good. It was good. No, I would gladly play him every single tournament given the opportunity. He was such a gem of a human. I hope people
That's
go check out his
awesome.
channel. I hope if they're ever in
We
the
should we
Denver
should post a
area.
link in the notes and make sure people find it. But that's awesome to hear. Sounds like
Yeah.
an incredible way to end day one. You know, and
Oh my God, yeah. It was good.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was phenomenal. After day one, met up back up with the Corsairs. We went out for dinner, then went out for drinks, and it was a grand old time. We did karaoke that night. Went to a big
As is
karaoke
tradition.
bar with a bunch of the couple of the Tough Crowd crew, and then some other clubs. Came out. Glam Hammer came out, and it was fun. We had a grand old time singing at the bar. It was good.
All right.
that's such a great place to do it.
Oh
Nice
yeah.
way to do Vegas. That's fantastic.
Oh yeah. We went out to this like cheap karaoke bar too, to where it was like $5 for a bucket of beer, as opposed to $40 for a bucket of beer, which they were selling at the venue.
That's so ridiculous,
Seems
but
about right. Seems about right.
But the love was in the air, and everyone had a good time. Um, my club had 3 people undefeated going into day two,
oh
and then
yeah.
there was 5 of us with 1 loss, which felt really good. We were
Yeah.
all in really high spirits going into day two. Um, yeah, woke up day two, felt a little rough after the night before, but that is to be expected with Vegas. That's something you definitely have to manage if you are a connoisseur of the adult beverage and you are in
It
America's playground.
feels like the beta game of Vegas. Definitely
Yeah,
agreed right there. Yeah, that's
yep,
the game 3.5.
yeah. I a couple years ago I took Zinch to LVO and I went out every night and that was insanely hard to do.
I cannot imagine. That sounds like you should have gotten extra points just for showing up and trying, right?
My brain was dead. I was immediate Shadow Realm for like a week.
Nice.
I just couldn't process work at all or anything. But this time, it's one of the major reasons why I played Slaves to Darkness is I had 30 models on my list. I told my opponent what I was going to do. My list either does it very well or it just doesn't happen. I would say most of the time it works. Like 6-man packs of Vanguard and 10-man packs of Chosen that fight twice. And if you give them the Oracular Vision with the Sorcerer Lord at the 5-0
Hmm.
board, getting them on a 2-up armor save, they're not munching through that.
Yeah, it's hard for that to fail if you play it well, right? There's got to be a concerted effort by your opponent to make it fail.
Yeah. It
Definitely if you
was
give them target diversity like that. It's not just one chose one Darren guard, there's a bunch of them. And
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
It was fun. No, day two was awesome. I showed up a little bit before pairings just to kind of check out the vendor hall. And then kind of wander around checking out the beautiful paint judging and stuff like that.
Oh
Army
man,
Painter actually did a really cool like mini Golden Demon, but like they did their own thing because I don't want to say it's Golden Demon's gatekeepy, but my understanding of Golden Demon in the painting community is Golden Demon's very gatekeepy. Uh,
yeah, it's got some interesting rep lately. I mean, all the
I'm
models are
not a
beautiful,
oh my God,
but
yeah. I'm not a phenomenal painter by any means, but I also don't think I'm a total scrub anymore. But I know I'll never be on that level, but it was pretty cool. I met Squidmar from their YouTube channel.
nice.
They're really cool. I like watching their YouTube videos. I feel like they're very approachable and they're just normal guys like us as opposed to there were a lot of people there that were content creators that people almost felt like celebrity status and everything.
That's a little strange.
And I don't like that. I feel like as a content creator, you should want to be approachable, and don't feel like you're in it for something else, um, other than growing your community.
think
I
that's the right
feel.
attitude to take. So what we all aspire to here, right? So
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take it one further, right? Just as like a human, that should be your goals, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So like, not to be like on the high horse, but like, damn, community is everything, you know? It's what gets you through times that you don't think you can get through.
Oh, yeah.
So
And, by this time going into day two or the start of day two, I had a couple people recognize me from this pod,
that's
and
so weird.
love that.
I
Love
asked
that.
them to take pictures. They're like, I'm like, oh, let's take a picture. It's like, oh, it's like, no, 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 I'm not taking a picture for you. I want to take a picture for me. It's like, you came up over to me, you told me that I helped you become a better corn player because of talking about corn and how I play them at GTs and how my mentality on list building and stuff like that. And that to me is makes me feel amazing and special.
That's
And
just awesome to hear. Like that's why we do it.
yeah,
Yeah,
and that's why I always encourage, if you see one of us, come say hi. Um, we're probably gonna be the awkward one, not you. Uh,
100%.
True.
100%.
High likelihood of awkwardness, but also a hug. So you get
yeah,
Yeah,
both.
you're getting hugs. We're not shaking
all the
hands. You're getting
hugs.
hugs.
Yeah, you get the hugs.
Um, yeah, it was round four. I played against a guy from LA. I'd seen him at events before, but it was his first LVO. His name was Ramiro. Great, great guy. He was playing Sylvaneth.
Ooh,
Um, yeah, I got excited. I was like, oh, one of my favorite players. I play at tournaments in the Pacific Northwest. His name's also Alex. We call him Landy. A really good friend of mine here in the Seattle area. He plays Sylvaneth a lot. Him and I always have like nail biter games. Um,
Looking at the
super.
scary man. I don't know.
They can be scary. But I feel like I have a lot of practice against them, and I know
Hmm.
what to do and what not to do.
hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
so
sorry.
it's always a good time. Uh, I am not a big fan of the Alarial lists in fourth edition. I don't
I
think
agree
they're
with that.
super good. I'm not a fan of the abilities that have multiple checks. So if Alarial wants to bring back a unit, it needs to happen on a 4-up. And then if that 4-up happens, they also have to be next to a tree. If I just kill the trees, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so much. It's so much
And you're,
to ask for like in this hyper expensive unit to get anything done.
oh my God, yeah, I prefer the old Alarial where it was just like, I just bring back a unit of Kurnoth with my
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
It was good, felt good, was good.
Consistent, measured.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
it was fun. Um, and then yeah, it's just I just don't like the 50-50, and then if I just do something, it doesn't work. Um, but yeah, it was his list was the healing big trees automatically instead of D3, it was just three every turn. And it's just crazy how Lariel can heal. It's like three plus D, it was like two D3 plus three automatically. So you literally have to kill her in like one go, which is stupid.
Yeah.
Uh, he had a Lariel, big unit of Kurnoth with great swords in his General's Reg, Belthanos in his second regiment with a unit of Gossmans, and then his third unit was Durthu, and then Spite Revenants just for sitting on objectives. Um, I deployed my castle. I told him what I was going to do before deployment.
Love this running theme. Play my castle. Told me what I was gonna do. I did
You
what I was
deploy,
gonna do.
yeah. We played. The mission was shifting objectives. So I was like,
Ooh,
okay, it's three objectives in the center. If I just push forward, he's not going to come out. So I took turn. I did exactly what I told him I was going to do. I summoned the bridge. I threw out my Vanguard. I got 3d6 charge off on my Vanguard. I got oracular visions off my Vanguard. I pushed out on the objectives. I charged my Vanguard into his big units. Oh no, I charged my Chosen into his big units, set my Vanguard up in the center objective with Be'lakor to kind of protect the counter. I charged into Alariel on turn one and she had the unit of Spite Revenants, and he countercharged Belthanos into me.
interesting.
Uh, it was I was gonna I activated fight twice, so it was I think it was to protect Belthanos or Alariel because I was just gonna kill one of them and pile into the other one. But
Hmm.
he was good. I actually had to Marcus Slanesh my uh chosen, and he had bodyguard, so I'm already down. I'm down to two attacks per. Uh,
Oh,
so it was kind of spicy. So that I wasn't too necessarily happy with. Um, so what I did was I didn't want him to countercharge and then come off because he did like a countercharge rampage with Belthanos to get on an objective where he expected me to push forward and kill Lariel, and I just turned around and killed Belthanos.
I mean,
I was like,
arguably, it feels sometimes like Belthanos has way more tech for that list longer, and Alariel is just like around to be Alariel, right?
oh yeah,
Mhm.
100%.
Yeah.
I like Belthanos. I do not like Alariel. I like the units. I like the Warsong list with Belthanos and like a unit of six bows. And then
Hmm.
just kind of play like the KG with Morbid, play like a big caster list. I think it's a really good list, really fun list. Just kind of teleport around.
That's real fun. I think the last time I played Sylvaneth, it was against a variant kind of like that at the end of third. But
It's brutal. It's good. It's just gonna chip you away. They
mhm.
take away your ward saves, and then you
Yeah.
just kind of go to town. So it's kind of good. I said go. I dark mastered his big pack of Kurnoth. Made my rolls this game. Immediately win right there. Um, I had my chosen on both objectives where I could fight first, with Belthanos right there, or with Be'lakor right there, and it was fun. He didn't push in. He failed his charge with Durthu. He
Oh
did fight.
no.
He did fight with two units and not die. And then I said, okay. I did a big counter charge. I rolled like a 9-inch counter charge my Vanguard, kept one within 3 inches of Be'lakor, made my fight first roll, just blew up Durthu and all of his tree revenants. Uh, if
Rough.
And yeah, it was rough.
Oh.
He scored 0 and 0. And then I think I tabled him like on my turn 3.
Yeah,
Um,
shifting objectives is a hard mission for Sylvaneth too, because they don't want to be there,
yeah.
right? They don't want to be holding. That's sorry, Sylvaneth player. I'm sorry, I forgot your name, buddy, but man, that you got it.
If
You
you're
got it, Alex.
sitting there and you roll
Hmm.
the prime objective is the center, and I just roll in with 6 Vanguard and put Bellicor right there for fight first,
Mm-hmm.
you're not taking that.
No, and like there maybe there's a world with like a couple of different lists, right? James, one of our patrons, good friend James, um, plays. Well, he was testing out like an all archer list, right, where it's all the hunters with bows, and
Hmm.
those may have a chance if you like are just spamming them. But like
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Like even then you have to have like some backup for making sure that you've got the movement to get around and then wipe clean whatever's left. But that's still just kind of scary, you know?
Oh,
Not
without a
really
Yeah.
doubt.
much not
I
really
like
much for Sylvaneth
Gossman's.
to do.
I like Gossman's now. I think I'm happy the change happened, but I think that lists like that with a bunch of Kurnoth with bows is really good with priority target under the old priority target rules.
Yeah.
Um, they benefited from that, from like okay rules becoming good rules, as
Hmm.
opposed to good rules becoming broken rules,
Yeah. I
which
agree with
we
that.
saw with Skyfires or Long Strikes. And ain't nobody want no part of that shit.
Yep.
I don't care. I don't care who you are. Ain't nobody want no part of that. We
I'm
all
here for
happy
it.
that's gone.
Yeah. I'm
Um,
here for it.
yeah, it was fun. Yeah, it was a good guy. He was super fun. Um, we talked for a little bit after the game, mostly about going to events and kind of stuff. He was from LA, so I was talking to him about the fires. So if any listeners are affected by the fires, we're hoping the best for you guys. That
Yeah.
you and your families are
I'm
safe.
second on that. So tough.
Devastating.
Yeah.
Um,
Pretty insane.
but yeah, won that game. I'm 3-1. I'm already feeling good because I know I'm finishing the tournament with a good record, positive record.
Hmm.
Going 3-2 just feels good at a GT. Um, I feel like you're either undefeated or go 3-2 and you feel good. Just not that negative record. It's just you're gonna leave on a high. At least that's how I do it.
That's my mentality as well. Like you walk out of there, some stuff are, it's fate. We're going to
Yeah.
control our turn to die, but you've done well. Done a run out, pretty solid record at that point. So head is held high.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you need a lot of luck to go your way to win a big GT. It's especially one at LVO because you can look down that list and the most WCW people are there. A lot of the top players in the world are there,
Yep.
and a
Hmm.
lot of people are bringing their A game. And you're seeing some of the best players on ITC that are in the top 20, top 30 at ITC with losing records in these events.
Yeah.
And
And it's awesome. Awesome.
yeah,
100%. I mean, that's a good point there. There's no shame in going like 2-3 or 1-4 or even 0-5 at some tournament. I mean,
oh
some
yeah,
things about your matches, but they're all making you better, and it's all good times and good fun and folks. It doesn't mean you didn't play well or had bad games. Sometimes it's just the draws you had.
oh 100%. You
Yep.
need good draw on a good map, and then you need luck on the dice.
Yep. Dice, that's the secret. That's what I've learned. You're the best player in the world if you can roll all sixes.
My
Game's
secret is going to
easy.
be I ordered those goat dice from Team Ireland from Miles.
Ah,
I get some of
there we
those.
go.
The but also too, like just showing up with a fully painted army, going to an event is hard enough on its own.
Hmm.
Playing 5 games in 2 days is hard. Have fun with it, make games, make friends, make mistakes, have fun, learn something, have a takeaway from every game, uh, and then set little goals for yourself every single time. It doesn't have to be massive goals to change. Understand it's a journey. I've been playing war games since I was in a young teenager with BattleTech, and I played a lot of competitive Magic. We played a lot of competitive 40K back in the day, and I've lost more games than I think I've won. And I'm
I think
sure
that's
everyone goes through those, gets the ass beating for a while.
Oh yeah, well it's a journey, right? I mean, it doesn't start 0 to 60. You often have to like have
Yeah,
years of experience in different forums and kind of
yeah,
take things away from each of those places. Hmm.
yeah,
yeah. And if you don't get an ass beating for a while, go find a way to get one.
Exactly. I mean,
Humble
you gotta seek
yourself.
it out.
yeah.
Humble yourself.
Yeah. I know a couple players that flew too close to the sun and then went to a couple events and got humbled. Um, but yeah, let's round five. Last game of the tournament.
Final one.
Um, I'm
Here we
three and
go.
one. I feel great. I show up to my last game. I'm exhausted. Um, this is when Stuart finds me next to my table, looks at me, he's like, Alex, you look like you need a beer, and hands me a beer. I'm like, oh my God, fucking love you. Um, just out of nowhere, this guy just hands me a drink. I was like, oh, this is great.
Now that's good
Um,
energy. That's the AOS crowd right there in a
oh
nutshell.
Mm.
yeah. I I feel like whenever lists get unlocked at an event, I always am like, I see one list like, oh, this is a 6 Magma Droth list. This is a 15 drop Stormcast list. I
Hmm.
always end up playing that list before the tournament at the tournament.
As
So
is
I mean,
written.
it's just every single time it's ever happens, like, oh, I don't want to play, this list. This list seems crazy. Like, what
Hmm.
do I do against this monster truck army? How do I even play against this? What does it do? Um, every single time I say that, I play against that list. And I posted this in our Discord before the tournament when lists got unlocked. Like, who is this madman playing this 15 drop Stormcast list?
Hmm.
And I got paired into this madman playing the 15 drop Stormcast list in round five. And it was I we literally at lunch with my team, and I was just like, oh, pairings just went up. I get to play the 15 drop list. I'm like, what do I fucking do, guys? And we did the math, and it's like 170 shots. It's just absolutely insane. It's one, two, three, four, 5 units of castigators, a reinforced unit of prosegators, and then one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 unit of vigilers, and a knight arcanum. Nothing in the general's reg.
That
All
is
auxiliary.
beautiful. That is
All
so
auxiliary.
beautiful. He
That's
was like,
a bots
screw
not
it.
gods list right there, Matt, isn't that?
Yeah, that really
It
is. That's a spam, not God's list, man.
Spam is
Hot
just
damn.
compressed bots into one
Hey,
little
it's
can.
I'm just happy to I'm just happy to see that many castigators on the table before it goes
Wow.
out, right?
yeah. It was his name was Michael Skriller Mitch. I think I butchered his last name, so I'm sorry. He listens to this. Um, someone had told me he's known for playing Castigator spam and has done it at previous LVOs and other big GTs.
Hmm.
Um, and my understanding is he's a very, very good player. Uh, and it was fun. We were both just there to have a good time. I swear I thought he was gonna null deploy me. We played, and I hate this mission. Um, we played. What did we play? It wasn't. It got changed. It wasn't Feral Foray. It was Jaws. What's the one where it's
Oh,
the
Jaws
side
of Gaia.
deployments? No, the side deployments.
Oh, I'm not gonna know it off the top of my head. I am
It's
rusty at the moment.
it's 5 objectives. Oh, what's the name of this? Stupid.
What's 5 objectives?
Hold on, I'm gonna look
What's
it up.
the formation? Is
Edge
it like a cross or?
It's like
deployment.
edge
Edge.
deployment. It's
I know what you're talking about. It's just the name is escaping me. Um,
not focal points. Oh, it is focal
nah.
points. Focal points.
Okay.
No, right? No, no, no,
Oh,
no, no.
five objectives
No, what
in
is
the
it? Hold on, hold
diamond.
on, hold on, hold on,
That
hold on.
that's focal points.
We played not Jaws. Battle for the Pass.
That's what it
Okay.
The
is.
four objectives. And I'll say this: if you are a TO, please do not do this if you know the spacing on your tables are compact. Because as opposed to playing hamburger style, you're now playing hot dog style.
Yeah,
And it is hard when it is round five, everyone's back hurts, and you're playing long ways, but everyone's playing long ways, and I can't walk on the side of the table.
yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
Just
is
gonna
hard. If you're going to do Battle for the Pass, please do it early where our backs don't hurt.
or be like ASL's tournaments and make sure that you have enough room for when Battle of the Past may be on.
It's
And if
just,
you
Absolutely.
don't have enough room, just you know, don't
there are
do it.
plenty
There's
other
a
good
ton of other
missions.
missions.
Little plug for the Milford tournaments we do at the TJ's Cafe and Games. Always enough room because there's a whole game room in the back where everyone has elbow room, arm to room to breathe, and this would not be causing anybody pain.
Yeah, it wasn't fun to play. Um, but either way, good mission, good map for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you get the
Because
speed.
I was able to deploy online with my Vanguard and Chosen, play with my Sorcerer Lord, screen out my backfield with um, my Furies, and then my Horghast and my boat for my Manifestation Lore.
Nice.
I thought he was going to null deploy me. He did not. Uh, and he deployed like Vigilers with two units of Vigilers behind them, his Lord, his terrain piece, and then a couple units of Cascaders on the side. He had like 7 units in the sky.
Oof.
Um, and like I did every game, I told him what I was gonna do. Uh, I was like, okay. First off, I had to look up auxiliary rules, which I totally forgot.
Get the
Okay, so
extra victory point,
actually
whatever it most
remind me.
command point. Command point, right?
I get a free command point every turn. So every round I get 5 from the underdog. I get 6.
Yeah.
Um, I knew he could do some. It's like 180 shots. Uh, for a round of shooting. If I give him turns, like why would I ever just take 180 shots for free? I imagine all of his games, someone gives him turn,
And
and they
immediately
just
regrets it.
immediately just regrets it. They're like, okay, I'm gonna take 180 shots. They're rend one, but nothing's gonna survive 180 shots.
That's a kingly volume. Or what are they, threes and threes, or what's the normal profile for
It's gonna be
for
threes
those?
and twos.
Mm-hmm.
Castigators have crit 2 hits, and rend extra rend on cavalry. So the rend 2 on cavalry, everything's rend 1. But if you wound something with a vigilar, he gets everything that shoots it gets +1 to wound.
Yep. Cascaders are super good. They finally got really nice rules right at the
Yep.
end.
Wow.
But in typical Alex fashion, I got my oracular visions off on my Vanguard. I got my demonic speed roll off my Vanguard. I marked them corn. I moved them 10 inches forward. I rolled a 17-inch charge.
And all was well in the land of chaos.
I activated fight twice. I lifted 30 vigilers on my turn one, and I said go.
I love that. 30 vigilers.
You
They're
mastered
not
the little twitch in the wrist to make the three dice come up as like the good 15 plus number. So
So here's
I'm
the
gonna say
thing.
it
yeah,
was the beer. I'm gonna say
It
it was
was
the
the beer.
beer.
It was
the
Stewart's
looseness in the
beer.
throw.
Yeah.
It was the Michael Jordan's on Space Jam. The water he drank. It wasn't the beer. Yeah, it was the Miller Lite I had. I defiled his home objective with the Gazrath Warband.
Mm-hmm.
spike 3 morals on his chaos on his Vigiler. So I said go. I killed 6 units of Vigilers. I was on his home objective, like 4 inches away from his character, right next, like 5 inches away from his terrain piece. So I was like, oh, I only need a 5 inch counter charge to go into his character, and his terrain piece just knock out the Storm Vault. Like whatever, who cares? Bellacor's right up there. I did
Mm-hmm.
take his lands on his in his area. I was like, this is gonna be easy. Um, he immediately miscasts and kills his character because he only has 3 wounds left
Oh, jeez.
because I defiled it. So
Mm-hmm.
he ends his hero phase with 7 of his 15 units dead. Uh, and
Jeez.
then drops everything and start. He's like, okay, I'm just gonna blow up the Vanguard.
Oh
Uh,
no.
I all defense. I have oracular visions. I took 9 wounds.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yep.
So a good handshake was had by all very soon afterwards.
I then countercharged. His prosecutors came. Dark mastered his prosecutors. His prosecutors have that stupid thing where if they take a non-core ability, they could ignore it on a 4-up.
Mm-hmm.
He ignored Dark Master. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever, don't care.
Okay.
Um, they came in, didn't do that much. I kept them alive. My wound severely hurt them with Bellacor's, but didn't kill them, so he couldn't bring them back right away.
Mhm.
Uh, and then it was just kind of all downhill from there. He won like every prio, but he was just scoring minimum points. I controlled all the objectives. Um, it was rough. Uh, I felt real good. You know, when you say go and you're playing against 15 drops and you kill 7 units die before he enters his move phase.
Yeah, like that'll I mean, and that's both that that emotional swing goes the other way for him, right? I could only imagine
Yeah,
like 7 units down before I've even gotten to move. That's like
yeah,
that's like beginning of third dragon charge levels of despair. So
yeah,
That is an absolute violence from like some cornate super Vanguard. Like
yeah.
yep.
you probably didn't
He
expect to be able to get that far.
he eventually kills the Vanguard in this game. Uh, but then he has Bellacore and the Chosen.
Yeah. I mean that's why that list is so good to me. Like Vanguard is like the beat stick, suddenly the scariest thing on the table after they've killed that one big unit, become just
Yeah.
like a giant distraction carnifex, and then you have the cleanup crew. You know,
Mhm.
it's that 1-2 punch.
There's no
Uh,
doubt about
So
it.
good.
is this was the game that my endless spells won me the game. Uh,
Really?
because he can just hop on he can tie me up and with whatever and then play primary, teleport his guys around.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I was like Horgast is able to not only zone out, it's 6 shots at twos and threes, rend 3 against infantry, one
I always
damage.
forget about that.
You
Oh,
mean
As
jeez.
yeah, as this man is painting one, the thing is
painted
insane against infantry.
painted
Yeah.
one. It's all
Um,
done now.
Using the bridge to pull a unit out of combat to then charge another unit is very good. Even if it's that one extra damage from the 2 attacks from Bellacore, damage 3 is killing way better than damage 2.
Yep.
Uh, it's pretty spicy. Um, the one thing that kind of kept his prosecutors at bay was I had Enfeeble off on them pretty much the entire game. So they're
Yep.
neg 1 to hit, which is pretty good. And then couldn't use commands because they were in combat with the Chosen. So hitting on fours
Such a good
is
argument for the Dread Banner. Just a little
Yeah.
bit of
so
flexibility.
good. Yeah.
Love the +1 attack from Banner Screaming Flesh in theory, but yeah, you can get the most of the benefit if you want to mark them or need to mark them. Slanesh. So what's the drawback?
I mean,
Yeah.
I'd much rather have 3 and up saves than 2 and up saves, you know?
Mhm.
If
It's
I'm
it's
if
like
I'm
with
gonna
the
run into
book,
someone.
the best mark is like you look at the Regent of Renown, the 5 knights, the 10 warriors, and the Lord and Demonic Mount.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, the downside of this is they don't get a mark. They get this other ability of +1 armor save. Like that's better than all the marks.
Yep,
It's like the
like
best
hands
mark is the
down.
one that
Like
they don't get
where can
attacked.
we take the mark of steel? People be lining
Yeah,
up for that one.
it's yeah. If imagine if everything was just 2 up armor save.
Yep, gross,
I would
super
play 80
gross.
Chaos Warriors. Like
I mean,
just
That would be the most
I
fun list for that.
I would still do it just to see how it would go without the armor save, but I don't think I'd bring it to a tournament. Two and
there
up
was a
save on
guy
everything is
that
ridiculous.
there was a guy that played 60 Chaos Warriors there,
I
which
love
with
that man.
Bellicor,
Was it 320 blocks? Is that what you did?
I think so.
That's fun.
It's the one player who finished ahead of me for best Slaves to Darkness.
Uh we don't
Uh,
like him anymore. Just kidding, dude. We love
no,
you
he was
too.
nice. Everyone, I mean, I didn't meet a single bad person. I heard about one bad play experience that happened at the event. Um, Other than that, it was really good energy. Um, I heard some of the play on the stream was a little sloppy. Um, I don't want to go. I don't want to ever accuse anyone of cheating. Um, but I heard it was a little rough on stream for some of the watchers.
Yeah,
Um,
there were some people reaching out going, look at this.
but
Which is
here's
never
my
good to
stance.
see.
Hmm.
I turned to one of my buddies who's like one of the best players in the game, and I was just like, what's the most appropriate way to approach this? And they're like, unless it's completely malicious, which we know it's not. If you are sitting there playing on stream with the head judge watching you do everything, it is on the judge then, if it's not malicious, to call it out. Like in sports, when you miss a penalty flag, the game still happens. We're all perfect. Fatigue is very much a thing.
Oh
We're all
yeah.
going to forget rules at these big GTs and events, but it's how you hold yourself. And if you find out you made a mistake, own up to it and fix it. Um, like as an example, I'll tell you this. Matt, you will love this story. This is insert rant. Um, my buddy Nick
It always strikes
Gonzalez.
late. We're here for it, Alex.
We
Bring it,
love
This
man.
rants.
I heard this story and it was the most insane thing, and they were so loud. My buddy Nick Gonzalez, shout out Nick. He's one of the
Nick.
leaders of the Corsairs. One of the coolest guys, one of the best players to play against. You will have a great time.
Oh yeah.
He
I
was
haven't played
playing.
against Nick in years because I suck nowadays, but
he
soon,
he
buddy.
took
I'm
home best
coming
soul
for you
blight.
again.
Took home best soul blight at the event.
Nice.
Um, he was playing double Mortark and then big units of Graveguard with wolves. He played against Feck, I want to say in round 4, and Ushron did the spell to make a unit fight. Uh, pick a character and have it fight another unit.
Yeah,
Hmm.
He did that on Neffy. It was just like, okay, what are you gonna do? Take the claws? I don't care. I'm not gonna try to dispel this. Like Manfred will just take the claw hits, right? Like it's just like
stiletto hits.
you're gonna be hitting me on fives. And he's like, no, 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 I'm taking the dagger. And
Oh no.
and he actually made the hits with the dagger, failed the armor saves with the dagger against Manfred for the spell, and then later on rolled the auto kill with the dagger.
That would be the only time that Neffy ever makes that fucking roll.
It's
It's when
such
your
a
But
opponent
perfect
does it against
betrayal.
you. I've
Oh
played
my God,
Neffy so much and I've never made that work.
where is
but
Rocco? The narrative of Neffy knifing Manfred at last. Chef's kiss.
Yeah,
Here's the thing. In fourth edition, everything is an ability. The instant kill on the dagger is an ability that happens not in the hero phase. It happens
that's
later
right.
on.
Yep.
So Nick has the ability to do his abilities or not do his abilities. The Feck player with Ushron no longer controls Nephi because that only happens in the hero phase. So while Manfred took the hits from the dagger, he does not get auto killed because Nick doesn't choose to use the ability.
That makes sense.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, it does and it doesn't because it's an ability of getting hit by the dagger. I mean, they wrote it that way, so it makes sense in that way, but it creates a weird result.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it creates a weird result, kind of, but also like as a TO, that makes total sense, right? Having it talked back. Like, yep, yeah, I would rule it that way.
Yeah, I think I would too, but I could totally see in the heat of the moment, no one would catch that. It would be like, of course, that sucks, but my character died because I just got attacked by the dagger, and the dagger's ability does this. But
I
yes.
I just had the image of Gonzalez running around going like, it finally happened, but I didn't roll it in my
That
mind.
is so funny.
No, it
So
was
so
like
wait,
everyone in the hall knew this happened. Like it was like, oh my God, let's go. Like they were both excited, like, let's see this happen. Like once Nick realized what was going on, it was funny. Like they were loud and like they ran around the table, hugged each other, like they're cheers and beers, like they were having
so
the
funny.
most fun.
That's awesome.
Um, it was great. But I think that how they played it was Manfred died until a judge
Yeah.
walked over, told him what happened. And they're like, no, that's not how it works. Nick was already up a lot of points, I guess, and like the guy was gonna concede if he was gonna win, and just give Nick points just because he was just a stand-up guy. Um, but they it was a really funny, really cool story hearing at the event. And unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. And I knew Matt, I knew you would love that story because I know how much you like Neferata.
Nephew's my
I
lady.
I
She's the
love that
best.
story too, Alex, because I've always wanted to see Manfred get his ever since he ruined the old world for us.
I hate Neferata. She's my most hated model in the game. Uh, I have lost in the finals of GTs before, twice, uh,
Oh, to the dagger.
because of the dagger. I was
But
playing
really,
for first overall at the first Tacoma Open a couple years ago, with Legion of the First Prince, and it literally came down to me winning the game for controlling an objective if my Bloodthirster lives at full health against Neferata, and Nephi spiked through, killed my Bloodthirster. I failed the roll. He made the roll, auto killed him, and then he took the objective and won the game.
oh my
So
God.
my first game against Alex was actually when I was running my Nephi list. And it all makes sense now. The extreme prejudice that he laid into my Soulblight army with Nephi at the front, all of it makes sense.
Yeah, I will.
I have to say I can understand it now. I mean, that's soul crushing.
I will
Yeah,
kill
that's
her if
rough.
I see her. Um,
With extreme prejudice.
yeah.
So it's very reasonable now. I mean, just you don't think a magical stiletto is going to wreak that much havoc. It sounds like it's probably racing ahead of the Sword of Kings for actually having claims of skulls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
I
was
mean, I've never gotten it to go off. I've
Oh,
never ever gotten her to get that thing off.
it's nice that it's there, but it definitely makes for some hilarious moments, I guess, when it does. Oh, that's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
that's so
good
rad.
story. Good story of that.
But yeah, ended up the tournament. Finished 41st overall. So I met my goal, top 50.
Yeah, that's
Um,
awesome. That's so
yeah,
awesome.
I had such a good time. We went out after that night.
That's great.
We had one of our teammates, Jeremy, in the top eight.
Oh
So we were
yeah,
like, oh man, we got someone in the top eight. Of the 18 Corsairs that went, 13 of us finished with positive records.
that's the way to go.
My buddy Alex Gonzalez finished 4-0-1, so four in a draw. Um, right outside of top eight. I think he finished like 11th overall.
Oh wow.
Uh,
Nice.
uh, Ended up taking best blades of corn for ITC for the year because of that insane finish. He got so many points for it.
Oh yeah, I
Uh,
saw that. I was like, oh man.
it was
I
cool.
I
We took home a lot of awards. Um, just naming off the top of my head for awards that the Corsairs took home, we were finished the fourth best club for the year. We got our the best Corsair, Jessica. Um, she finished number one hobby
yep,
for all of Age of Sigmar for ITC. So
well
she
deserved.
well deserved. She's a phenomenal player, great painter. Uh, and we finished with best blades of corn for the year. We took home of the LVO. We took home best corn, best OBR, best soul blight. I want to say that's it. I came real close to taking best slaves of darkness. Um, and then we finished best KO for hobby, best night hunt for hobby, best corn for hobby,
That's
uh,
amazing.
best LRL for hobby. Um, yeah, we came through with some hardware, which was incredibly cool. Oh, I forgot to say, uh, of the tournament, we finished with the best record of best pregnant woman on a team to finish. There were two pregnant women, and both playing, and our pregnant woman did better than the other pregnant woman, and no one
Aha.
wanted to bet money on that with me. Uh, I was
You
like,
were in
it's
Vegas.
Vegas.
Come on. Come
What are
on.
we? Me and my buddy Ben actually did some degenerate gambling on people uh, at the bars that night. That was a good night though. We went out in Fremont Street. I think we were out till I want to say 6 in the morning, 5 or 6 in the morning.
Oof.
I chose not to play doubles the next day because I just wanted to chill, have a good time. Like we had one of the best nights I could think of. You know, all the Corsairs came out. Almost we had a bunch of tough crowd people come out. It was great, great, great
Nice.
night. Fremont's a blast if you ever go to Vegas. It's super cheap. It's fun. You know, we must have had, fuck, I don't know, 100 cocktails on the table. There was literally like a mountain of glasses. It was a good time. But yeah, Sunday the tournament, browsed the tournament hall, just had a good time. It was fun. Just kind of hung out. And then award ceremony, had to be there to celebrate our friends. We took big team photos. I'm sure people have probably seen them floating around. Um, it was good. It was good, good.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
This is a
Sounds
great
like
way
an
to
epic weekend.
simultaneously, yeah, close and open
Yeah, it
the
was
seasons.
one for the ages. I definitely say if you have the opportunity to go to LVO, go. If you're not a big drinker or partier, you should still go. The energy is amazing. The Sigmar community really is something special.
Yeah.
If it brings you out of your comfort zone, meeting the clubs from the other regions, and you get to experience amazing humans in different walks of life, and you will make friends. There are gatherings and groups of people that are there to make friends. There's like social things for people to do afterwards. The food's fun. You don't have to spend a lot of crazy amounts of money to have fun there, but you will have the time of your life.
There you have it.
That I think that sums it up succinctly.
So great. I'm really glad you had a lot of fun with the slaves out there. You know, Alex, that was I think definitely like the right order out for for that experience that you
Yeah.
wanted to have.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was fun. Army's probably going to go in the bin for a little bit. I'll probably play some OBR. I'm
Mhm.
going to take a break from corn. My ears perked up a little bit though with those releases that we saw. Those Soulblight,
Pretty
Mm-hmm.
spicy
chef's kiss.
looking.
And
I
then
want
seeing that
I'm
some.
little corn banner, mm, I'm gonna have to jump back on the train. So
I don't know.
hype.
yeah,
I think they might have just shown us a little glimpse of Hashuti and Ankle. I think we might be seeing some Chaos Dwarves.
Oh yeah. All I
Yeah.
know is we're probably getting those three books probably late spring, early summer. And my birthday's
Mhm.
in May. So if I get a corn book for my birthday,
that's
what
a
more?
great birthday present.
What
Get
more could I ever want?
back to the
Mm.
center, the love, the
Yeah.
first
Back to
love.
the blood god.
I'm definitely interested in seeing how the KO book comes out too, because
Mhm.
by then maybe I'll have that KO army finished.
Kale's
I
always, I feel, a very delicate book. It's
Yep,
either insane or dull.
yep,
And I'm really curious to see. My understanding is the Soulblight book going forward should be the first books that are written not thinking of the index.
Is that the word in the street? Because I was curious about that. I mean, definitely have to buy it given my pile of zombies,
Yeah.
but I'm really curious. So, like, if there's got to be like the Slaves to Darkness, where like, oh look, all these rules pasted over as our battle trait changes. It's not quite as exciting.
Or even
I'm
like even if the next like the Fat Corn and Sky Dwarves are gonna be the next ones. We're getting there and
yeah,
it's exciting. Fourth has been fun. It
it,
kind of was a little rough at the start, but I feel still feel like it was playable. But all the changes they've made, I feel like are positive for the game.
yeah,
Yeah,
100% agree on that.
I think they're pretty on top of trying to nurture and curate the balance and what people are experiencing in a way they really haven't in the past, which is great. It's great that they're invested in the game being a good living game and they
Oh,
know that they have something
100%.
special. Yeah.
And it's cool that they said all the armies are getting a train piece or in the spells that don't have both. And if you have
Hmm.
one, you're getting the other one. So like we're gonna get Soul Blight in the spells and a train piece. That's cool.
Yeah,
I hope
I
it's like
mean,
a crypt or a body pile or something. It'd be fun.
I almost imagine like an old school, like old world, like castle rook, right? Like a giant castle tower thing.
Hmm.
That would be rad as hell.
I
Just
was
like
imagining it'd be
full
like
on Castlevania.
a barrow or like a little like ornamented mausoleum, something like that.
Yeah,
Hopefully it's
that would be it.
something like the Orc one, because I really like how the Orc one can build Cruel Boys or Iron Jaws. But for vampires, if they could build like a Death Rattle version or a
Hmm.
vampire version.
Or maybe like a zombie pile version. Like here's your like,
Yeah.
your corpse repository or something. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to the Soulblight one. I have so many Soulblight already that it's like it's when you hit critical mass and you're like, man, I don't need to get much of this to get what I want because I have everything I want, and then I'll just have a couple new models, right?
Yeah.
Like, I love that I'm at that point with the Soulblight, but also those models are beautiful, and I love the fact that I'm fine. They're they're listening to me. I'm finally getting my cavalry characters. I get both my White King cavalry character, and I'm going to get a vampire on Steed cavalry character. Now, just do it for Slanesh, please, so I can play my Slanesh army.
I was thinking about what would the endless spell be for Soul Blight, and I was like, oh, like a full moon, like a little like a moon for like the
Just
wolves.
despite the gloom spite.
Yeah.
Like it'd be kind
Silver
of cool,
Moon. They're
like a
bad.
full moon that gave like I don't know, like the wolves like a bonus or the werewolf guys like a
Hmm.
bonus. Obviously, we're probably gonna get like a bat swarm for the vampires.
Yeah.
Um,
A blood-based thing, maybe.
maybe, and then some like almost like a grave tide, but like zombies or skeletons crawling out for like melee attacks
I
would
would
be kind of
love
cool.
I would love
Hmm.
like if it I would love like a recursion spell, right? Like thinking about like some of the core things or some of the core rules for Soul Blight where they're like they're so overly reliant on recursion. I love it if that army would lean into the vampire side and the dragon side and all that, where like, those feel fairly equal in terms of
Yeah.
power in the book. So like, what if they reduce the importance of recursion, but like, or like the amount that you can bring back or something. I know every death player is now going no, but like if they were to make like endless spells be a source of recursion, that would be really interesting. Like just your zombie pile comes down,
Yeah.
set it next to your zombie horde on the objective. Cool, you get D6 + 2 zombies back per turn.
That would be
That'd
really
be kind of
fun.
cool.
Get
Like,
radius, and if you're within it, you get like the extra models back, while it survives. That'd be fun.
mhm.
I like that.
I'm
Well,
just ready for the moving terrain from KO though. We know
Uh,
it's going to be moving terrain.
I am ready for the Korgis Call coming back as a Demon Prince for Corn.
That's going to be badass.
they're definitely gonna make that the thing, aren't they?
Oh, 100%.
Do you think he's
100%.
gonna have his dog too? Be riding his dog or something like that? Even bigger.
I'm hoping he's coming in like never ending story on Falcor,
Mhm.
like riding the dog.
Like
Amazing.
Archaon size
Yeah.
model, just like full Falcor.
Opposite opposite thing. He's bigger and the dog stayed the same. It's like his like toy teacup like poodle.
This
It's
would
like,
Mhm.
literally be like
Puts
that
him in
boss
his
from Elden
purse.
Ring. It'd be so
yeah,
amazing.
hold my poodle.
This is Korgis Call. We're done.
Yeah.
That's so amazing. It's funny. I was chatting like before the show with you guys, but you've inspired me, Alex, to do my Dare to Be Different. On my Dare to Be Different Slaves of Darkness list, I think.
I'm
There's
here
there's
for it.
good lists. There's lots of play in the book. The book is good. I full on expect things to change. I expect Varangar to go up. I expect
Hmm.
Hmm.
I expect Chosen to go up. I expect Be'lakor to go up quite a bit. But then you're just gonna play Theridons and
But
Knights.
well, that's the thing is there's so much
I'm
fun
fine
stuff in
with it.
there, and like even beyond the Theridons, like the Dark Growth stuff, definitely harder to play with, but there's some play in there. There's some
Yeah.
cool things you can do.
Yeah,
Like
and like we're up to 4 books now, right?
yeah,
4 with the orcs. Like we're still
Yeah.
we're still fresh. Everybody's pulling out the oh, this is easy, right? Everybody's pulling out the oh, this is easy choices. Once we get a couple books more in and the people who have chosen those armies start building with the other stuff in mind, then we see the really fun lists, right? Right now we're at
hmm
the oh yeah, take it. Not
I've been
pointed
saying this
correctly.
for a while. The game came out in July. We are
Mm-hmm.
5 months. We are 5 months into fourth. Think about that. It already feels like it's been a year. We're
Yeah.
5 months into fourth, and of those 5 months, there's only so many GTs. Take out Christmas time because that doesn't exist.
yep,
So we're
Mm-hmm.
really looking at 4 months of GTs. If you take the best players around on the ITC or across the world, they can only go to so many GTs with so many lists that people net copy lists from. And obviously, they're going to play whatever broken rules there are.
Yeah.
And they're going to play what's sexy at the time, not what's necessarily good. Let's take a look at the LVO top eight:
Oh yeah.
Nurgle, Cities, Iron Jaws,
Heat Knights of Slanesh.
Heat Knights, two Feck lists.
Yeah. The
I
amount of
forget what the
feck
other
in there
ones.
was insane.
There, what was the eighth list?
The two Iron
Another
Jaws, the two Feck.
Two Iron
Yeah,
Jaws, two Feck.
yeah,
Like, okay, who had that on their bingo card?
yeah. That's true.
Certainly
Whoever
not
that
me.
person is should get a lottery ticket
It's
next.
not necessarily the army that makes the player. It's the
Yep.
player that can play any list, and you like we said earlier, you have to get lucky with your dice, your matchup, and your map. All those things.
100%.
Can't get away from that for sure.
Yeah.
But I think that's something good to keep in mind, right? I mean, I was like, there's fun stuff you can do. There's also undiscovered combinations because people tend to get into like a vogue set of choices, either because they're prominent and easy or because they're popular. but doesn't mean other choices aren't
100%.
good. They shift all the time. If they jump Vanguard up by like 20 or 30 points, all of a sudden other things will come creeping out of the woodwork a bit more often.
Well,
Yeah.
I think Fire Slayers are one of the best lists right now. Like they got insane drops along
Mm-hmm.
Feck in the last drop. Fire Slayers are pretty good right now.
Feck has always been scary to me.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Feck is scary because you're taking your old list, but you're also adding another 6 unit of Grip Ghouls. It's
mm-hmm.
like, Jesus Christ.
Yep. It's like, how much more can you fit in that? There's
Yeah.
more? Shit.
6 more big knights are how many points? Like, ew.
Yeah,
Yep.
the units which are super cheap right now are like ultra spammable when they have some teeth. A little bit frightening when people go the max with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
which is nice. And it's good to see that like leveling, right? That level setting just a little bit. And like the game itself is finally hitting that point where it's like, okay, we kind of know they figured out where they're gonna go with the rules, the updates, etc. And because we haven't had like a new GHB just like changing the meta, people are actually branching out to like it,
yeah.
not like top tables even, but like just local stuff. People are like, oh yeah, well I'm gonna try this. So I know the missions. It's a lot less like uh brain matter to take up and learn and you know build lists with completely new missions in mind.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say that in that spirit, I'm gonna try out some Slaves of Darkness for GT without Vanguard.
Do it.
We're gonna have a little fun. A little fun. I'll keep a couple of my near and dears with maybe Be'lakor and some Chosen, but we're gonna have some variety beyond that, including that new Regiment of Renown
Mm-hmm.
from the Skaven shooting going on.
I also want to still be the hipster and point out that I was painting the cities of Sigmar before I found out that, you know, they were doing well. So
That's
can't
true. That's true.
can't have that tarnish my
You're not on the LVO winner bandwagon. You were there for when that was not a predictable thing.
yes.
Oh,
But
too
yeah,
funny.
I think we've come to a great place that LVO is the wargaming mecca essentially, right? So of uh of the US at least.
Oh,
So
100%. Yeah.
I'm excited to get out there next year. Um, get that reverse score, get under, yeah, get that 2 and 3.
We have Tacoma Open coming back this year too.
Create the
That is
balance.
true.
Yeah.
Yep, we got a lot of good events coming up, and Tacoma Open is
It's
going to
gonna
be
be a good year.
fun. Yeah, very good year. We're going to make it a good year.
Well, I have no
Damn
doubt
it.
that that's what lies ahead. But yeah, this has been a great kind of journey through your experience out there, Alex. And I think it kind of demonstrates that anybody who's never been to an LVO, what an incredible keystone event it is at the end of the year, as well as like literally just how much fun can be packed into a weekend is likely to be found there.
100%. Yeah. Shout out to
Mhm.
everyone I met, everyone that made my weekend special. Of course, my team, the Corsairs. Um, yeah, everyone was amazing.
It's awesome. Well, guys, I know we're getting close to that moment where we fight for the last word, but before we get to that moment, let's make sure we remind all of the listeners who made it this far with us too, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, totally makes a big difference for the channel. You know, if you like what you're hearing, tell your friends about it. You know, tell your enemies about it to make sure they become better friends. You know,
That's right.
all little things you need to do. And if you want to wear us around like a fashion model in the runway of life, there are many fine choices, including jerseys and booty shorts, on the Patreon page and the shop page. Well, they're having merchandise enough, Matt.
I think you have. And if you don't want to do any of that, thanks for making it all the way to the end. We
Yeah,
appreciate you.
just this listening's enough. Always glad to have you guys in our circle. So thanks
Yep.
everybody out there.
So I guess now's the time, huh?
Mhm.
Be excellent to each other.